Yes, Ritika. So when you have written 2 to 3 answers now, so you are feeling satisfied with your preparation than earlier, or like when you write answer, you feel more focused, like
Yes.
what to write and what not to write. That's the most important thing. Otherwise, what will happen? When you are making notes, you will just keep on making notes and notes and notes only. But you don't know that how practically you can use those points in writing the answer.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I have seen one of your answer which you have written yesterday. Just let me open that answer. What to write and what not to write. That's it. Otherwise, what will happen? When you are making notes. Okay. This is the answer which are written. Discuss the secular nature, quality and position of minorities in India. Now, you tell me what are those two parts in this question and what are the trigger words which you find when you read this answer, and what did you understood or what did you understand while reading the answer, that what you are supposed to write in this particular question. Discuss the secular nature of Indian polity. So here continuous.
I was a little
Yes.
confused. I was a little confused about the question actually, even though I attempted it. Firstly, what I understood from it was the secular nature of Indian polity, which is a static part that I had to address. That is the static part, and the second part, the position of minorities in India, that would be the current scenario of minorities in India. But by minorities, does it only mean religion-based minorities, or minorities in general? That I was a little confused about.
Now this is the question of 1991, right?
Yes.
This is a very old question. This is a question of 1991. But anyways, in 1991, can you imagine, like, this question was asked around maybe 20 to 25 years back, and there was something happening in India at that time in this particular period, like in 1991. Lal Krishna Advani was planning a Rath Yatra, like he was planning a Rath Yatra, and at that time this thing was in the debate, this thing was in the news, and that is why that question has been asked, that what is the position of minorities, whether minorities should remain minorities or they should also get equal share in the polity of the in India. That's what expected. But anyways, you have related with the current scenario. Maybe the question is of 1991, but you have given examples of the current situation, what is happening in India. But anyways, इस क्वेश्चन में दो चीजें हैं, that discuss the secular nature of Indian polity. So this is important. No, secularism is actually a Western concept. Secularism is a Western concept where that state shall not interfere in the religious matter, and religion should not interfere in the state matter. This is a Western concept. But in India, the secular nature of Indian constitution is little different than the Western concept of secularism. That is, where the religions or where the state shall not, interfere in any religious matter. बट इंडिया में वैसे नहीं है. इंडिया का जो सेक्युलर नेचर है उसमें कैसे है कि सम ऑफ द प्रोविजंस ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, सम ऑफ द लॉज इन इंडिया, दे डू इंटरफेयर इन द रिलीजियस मैटर एज वेल. Like, जो कुछ, like, the government of India has made certain laws, the government of India has made certain the bills, and it has given certain intervention in the religious matter which are immoral, which can create a problem with the public order, law and order, and which can create some issues associated with the health. So Article 25 itself says that every citizen of the India shall have the right to practice any religion, possess any religion, propagate any religion, with subject to three important things. That is subject to public health, morality, and there is one more term, subject to public health, morality, and health issues. These religious practices should not create any health problems. It should not create any public order or land order situation, and it should be moral practice. Like, for example, recently we have seen that in Sabrimala, the women's entry was not allowed. Now that is a religious practice, but still the government and the judiciary intervene in that practice. That triple talaq is a religious practice, but still the government judiciary has to intervene. So kuch aise like untouchability was also a religious practice in India. Caste based discrimination was also a religious practice in India. Discrimination of the women was also a religious practice in India. So although India is following the secularism, but India's secularism is little different than the Western concept of secularism, where in Western culture the secularism is a strict separation of religion and state. So there is a clear-cut separation, like the religion is not interfered by the state, and the state do not interfere in the religion. Got it? So India में ऐसे नहीं है. So here when they have asked me that discuss the secular nature of Indian polity. So Indian secularism is different than the Western secularism, and this has been well explained in NCERT. 11th standard की NCERT में उसको अच्छी तरीके से explain किया गया है. Got it? So this is what you are supposed to write. Like when you read the statement, that's what I told you. Like before you writing the answer, you need to read the question carefully. Now here discuss the secular nature of Indian polity. That's what you were supposed to write. So in second, yes, position of the minority, that was a current based issue. So that is so let's read it out. The secular word has been adopted in the preamble of our constitution by the 42nd Amendment in 1976. Actually, you should have written it in the body of the answer. You should have given little introduction of the secular. Secularism means strict separation of religion and state affairs, which is a Western concept, has been incorporated in Indian Constitution, which is हम क्या कहेंगे कि हमारे इंडिया के जो नीड्स हैं, like India के according to the India's social economic condition, we have adopted the secularism in our own as per our own conditions and as per our own situation, right? जो हमारा जो history है, social history है, जो religious history है, उसके accordingly we have adopted it. So introduction could have been like the secularism, which is a Western concept of separation of religion and state. In strict parlance, Indian Constitution has adopted secularism in its own, according to its own situation, or according to its our own हम क्या कहेंगे कि हमारे जो जरूरत है, हमारी जो नीड है, उसके हिसाब से हमने उसको मोल्ड किया है. We have molded the Western secularism as per our need. That's what ये आपने लिखना चाहिए था. Then you have written ये secular word has been adopted in the preamble. ठीक है. Then provisions from in the constitution of constitutional provisions, that is from Article 25 to Article 30, it gives certain rights to the minorities. That's what you are supposed to write. वो बाद में लिखना चाहिए था, position of minorities in India. That's what you are supposed to write. Like from Article 25 to Article 30, certain fundamental rights are given for the preservation of culture, language, and customs in India. That's what you are supposed to write. What is mentioned in the constitution with respect to minorities? Both. You should have written both linguistic minorities and religious minorities. You should have written that the Constitution of India gives the rights to preserve their language, their religious practices, and if the state interfere in that, then it could be considered as a violation of fundamental right. The aggrieved person can directly approach to the Supreme Court in this case. That's what you are supposed to write in this particular second part of the position of minorities in India. So however, the strength of the religious, India has no religion. Rather than one more thing you need to remember, Ritika, it's fine. We have written here that the secular word has been adopted in the preamble. India has no religion of its own. So iske bajay, rather than using the word India, you should use the word state. That state does not has. When you are writing, India has no religion, it looks like do Indian people not follow any religion? India consists many things. Like India का मतलब सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट नहीं होता है ना. इंडिया में गवर्नमेंट भी है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भी है, और वहां पे रहने वाले लोग भी हैं. When you are saying that India has no religion, it means that the people of India, are they not following any religion?
Yes, I get it now.
People are following religion, right? People have the freedom to follow the religion, but state is not having any religion. State matlab the state machineries, like the government, the the judiciary, the legislature, उनका कोई religion. The ruler is not having any religion. So rather than using like India has no religion, you should use the word called state has no religion. You got it? The difference between state and India. State, what is the definition of state? No,
I don't remember. I have to check.
Article 12 of the Indian Constitution. It defines the state. What it says? State means the union government, the parliament.
Yes.
Then the state legislature. Then all authorities which are working under the union and state government. That is what is called state. So state का अपना कोई religion नहीं है. लोगों का religion है. The people have the religion. They can follow any religion, but the state is not having it. So what it means is that secular nature of the Indian polity means that state has no religion of its own, and all religion, irrespective of the state, have the same status in our country. So you can say there is no discrimination on the basis of religion. That's what you can say. But there is no discrimination. However, आप देखिए यहाँ पर जब आप लिखते हो ना तो ये लिखना बहुत जरूरी था that state has no religion, but people have the right to follow the religion. Now, this is what is the important part of the secularism. State has no religion, but people have the right to follow the religion. However, the strength of the religious communities has been important criterion for identifying the minority community, not only strength but also historical deprivation, growth of the elites, tribals, women, as well as economic status has been some of the important criterion for declaring the communities as minority. अब यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा conceptually अब देखिए इंडिया के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में अगर if you write here that in Indian constitution it considers only two minorities, one is religious minority and the minorities based on language. Indian constitution has not recognized the minority on the basis of economic backwardness or on the basis of caste discrimination, on the basis of gender discrimination. उस चीज का जो minority है वो अभी recognize नहीं किया है. But हमारे constitution में the minority is only considered on the basis of religion and language. But anyways, overall हाँ वो भी करना चाहिए. यहाँ पे अपने even though the Constitution of India provides fundamental rights against the exploitation, equality, opportunity, abolition and untouchability and reservation of the seats in various government posts and educational institutions, yet minorities in India face discrimination and exploitation in various forms. Check. It can be better understood in the light of the ongoing debates regarding the demand of the reservation of the Dalit converts to Islam and Christianity. According to several experts, the status of the Dalit Islams and Dalit Christians, Dalit Muslims and Dalit Christians have not been, ameliorated after conversion and hence the need of the reservation. However, the Supreme Court has appointed 3-member commission to examine the demand of its entirely. Therefore, even though India is a secular country, several minority communities are yet to get equal representation in the society. Hence, an efficient and speedy and well-organized redressal management mechanism can help in realizing the secular nature of it. Check. You have given a very good thing. One thing which is improved in your answer compared to the previous answer, that we have given the current example. So you should always mention, it's a good practice that whenever you are writing the answer, try to give a current issue in your answer. That it is not possible to give the current issues in each and every answer, but jahan relevant आपको लगता है कि wherever you feel that any one particular current issue can be linked with that particular the question which has been asked, you should give it. Clear?
Okay.
Fine. So compared to previous answer, this is best. Here you have control your word limit. That is one good thing. You have written. अब यहाँ पे बस थोड़ा सा आपको क्वेश्चन समझने में थोड़ा सा वो हो गया है, confusion हो गया. That is most important कि ये जो है ना the secular nature of Indian polity, how the Indian secularism is different than the Western secularism. That's what you need to write. And last is what is the position of minorities in India. So minority की position जो है, you should write what are the provisions in Article 25 to Article 30. That what they can do, like they can establish their own religious institutions. They can establish their own educational institution to preserve their language. Like वो अपने educational institute कर सकते हैं. तो ये आपको उसमें लिखना चाहिए. What is the position of minorities? Got it?
Got it.
You should have given the current example.
Okay.
Fine.
Fine.
Chalo.
So how much like marks would I get on this answer? Like the kind of answers that I'm writing now, like less than 5, 2, 3.
I told you last time as well. Like once you qualify prelims exam, like you get average mark. Like out of, suppose this question is for 10 marks, you will get around 4 marks for this answer. But when you write it perfectly, it's not like that you will get 10 out of 10 mark. You will get only 2 marks extra. You will get 2 marks extra only. But as I told you that every 2 marks counts, because when you are getting 2 marks extra in each question, your total count increases by more than 200 marks, like including your like 4 GS paper, then 2 optional papers, then in essay your marks, even if you get 25 marks extra in essay, that is that is actually good marks for you, because nobody will write a perfect answer. Everybody will, if you are getting 6 marks out of 10, then if you get 6 marks in every question, each and every question, then you will be the topper, right?
Okay. Fine.
So as per me, you are writing an answer worth 4 marks, but you need to work for 2 more marks. Like when you will write more 20 to 25 questions, you will when जब आपका answer writing skill improve हो जाएगा, when you will be writing relevant answer, when you will be writing the meaningful answer, when you will be writing the succinct answer, then 2 marks will be increased. तब इस आंसर में आपने जो लिखा है वो सही लिखा है, लेकिन जो क्वेश्चन को जो आपने नहीं समझा, what exactly you are supposed to write, because of that
I don't know about the minorities, which I have to study. I didn't know. It's a very vague way of writing.
Right. So now I'm focusing on how you are writing, what is your writing style. I'm not focusing on your content. Content will come afterwards, because अभी आपने पूरा पढ़ा नहीं है, so that's why there could be some. It's okay, no problem. Content is not the problem. Content can be improved, like when you clear your concept. That is fine. But now I'm focusing more on your answer writing style. So discuss the administrative relation between the center and state in the light of recent controversies. Why you're writing, 2001 question, 2002 question, and 1991? Why you're not writing answers of the recent this one?
Whatever I thought I'll be able to write, I just chose the question, like irrespective of the year.
Okay, no problem. Write, 2014 onwards. Try to write the latest, like try to write last year question. मतलब last year का जो है वो उससे शुरुआत करो, because क्या हो जाता है ना कि when you are writing 2021 question, so you are much aware about the last 2 years events which is happening now. अब now ये 2001 का question है in the light of recent controversies. So when this question is asked to you, like in 2001 you were maybe 2 years or 3 years old, so you don't know what was the controversies at that time. Like you may not be able to relate it. But anyways, discuss the administrative relation between the center and state. India is being a federation with a very strong center, has very cleanly defined center-state relations in legislative, administrative, and financial functions. Very good. The executive powers are distributed. Union list, state list, concurrent list, where both the state and church has check. Both center and state are bound by the obligation that executive powers of the state should be in compliance with the parliamentary laws. Center has the right to give direction to the state on matters such as means of communication. Good. There is integral judicial system in the High Court. During the national emergency, President rule. Therefore, it can be inferred that even though the state is given the power to administer 59 subjects on the state list and concurrent list, yet the center plays a huge role in regarding the administrative functions of the center. Fine. You have written a very good answer. This question is very good. Now I will give you one more question to you, similar on the same line. You need to write the answer on this question, right? Just write it down.
Yes.
That was the question of this year's mains exam. discuss
Yes, sir.
discuss the recent trend of national political parties favoring national political parties
Yes.
favoring for
Yes.
centralization of power and regional political parties are demanding for more autonomy.
Okay.
Read it carefully. Try to understand what would be the demand of this question. Like why this question must have been asked. You know, the national political parties want that more and more power should be given to the central government, while the regional political parties are looking for more autonomy at the state level. You can start the answer from your state. Like, Mamata Banerjee wants more, state autonomy, like state matters, central government should not interfere. Like many such regional political parties like NCP, Shiv Sena, or even DMK, TRS, these are the political parties. They want that more autonomy should be given to the state government, while the national political parties like BJP, they want more and more power should be there in their hands, that is the central government. तो इसको लेकर क्वेश्चन इस बार पूछा गया था. So you have to write the answer. अब इसमें दो चीजें हैं. One thing is that you have to write what is the constitutional provision with respect to the division of power between the union government and state government, and what was the purpose. That's why the union government is given more power compared to the state. उसका purpose क्या था? Like the Indian political system is unitary biased. So what is the reason that why it is unitary biased, and how this particular the unitary bias nature is being misused by the union government, and why the state government is looking for more autonomy. तो ये आपको current example देखकर आपको बताना है.
ठीक है, I'll try.
ठीक है?
हाँ.
Now I hope you know the political situation in India. You don't need to you don't need to take one particular ideology. You just need to write the answer in the context of our political system.
Okay.
Clear? I'll do one thing. I'll take the answer from the. I'll take the answer. Sorry, I'll take the question carefully. यही एक line था, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी I'll send the question once again. Like what exactly the question was in this year's 2022 prelims exam. You can go in GS paper. You can also go search in the internet 2022 GS paper to mains question. So there you will find this question. मुझे लगता है there might be some changes in the wording of the question, but the question is on the same line.
Okay, I'll search for it. No problem. No problem.
So we'll stop it here now. We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, sir.